In 1789, France stood on the edge of collapse. For centuries, the country had been ruled by kings. Power belonged to the monarchy, the nobility, and the church. The common people carried the burden of heavy taxes, rising food prices, and economic hardship. At the center of the crisis was King Louis XVI. The monarchy had spent enormous sums on wars and luxury, including support for the American Revolution. By the late 1780s, France was deeply in debt. The treasury was nearly empty. Meanwhile, harvest failures caused bread prices to rise sharply. For ordinary families, bread was the main source of food. When prices doubled, hunger spread across cities and villages. Anger grew. French society was divided into three estates. The first estate was the clergy. The second estate was the nobility. The third estate included everyone else: merchants, workers, peasants, and they made up the vast majority of the population. Yet the third estate had little political power. In May 1789, representatives of the three estates gathered in Versailles to address the financial crisis. But tensions quickly escalated. The third estate demanded fair representation and equal voting power. When their demands were ignored, they declared themselves the National Assembly. They vowed to create a constitution that would limit the king's authority. This act marked the beginning of the French Revolution. In July 1789, crowds in Paris stormed the Bastille, a fortress prison seen as a symbol of royal power. The fall of the Bastille became a powerful image of rebellion. Across the country, unrest spread. Peasants attacked estates. Nobles fled France. The monarchy's authority weakened rapidly. By 1792, France was no longer just a kingdom in crisis. It had become a republic. King Louis XVI was arrested and put on trial for treason. In January 1793, he was executed. The instrument used was the guillotine. The guillotine had been introduced as a more humane method of execution. It was designed to deliver a quick and efficient death. But during the revolution, it became a symbol of political violence. After the king's death, the revolution entered its most extreme phase, the Reign of Terror. Under the leadership of Maximilien Robespierre and the Committee of Public Safety, the revolutionary government sought to eliminate enemies of the revolution. Anyone suspected of opposing the new republic could be arrested. Trials were brief. Evidence was often weak. Thousands were condemned. Between 1793 and 1794, an estimated 16,000 people were officially executed by guillotine. Many more died in prisons or through mob violence. Nobles, priests, former officials, and even ordinary citizens faced execution. The revolution had turned against itself. Fear dominated daily life in Paris. Public executions became common events. Crowds gathered in city squares to watch the blade fall. The guillotine, once seen as a tool of justice, became the symbol of instability and political extremism. Eventually, even revolutionary leaders were not safe. In July 1794, Robespierre himself was arrested and executed by the same machine he had used against others. The Reign of Terror ended, but France remained unstable. In the years that followed, political chaos continued. Governments rose and fell. The revolution had destroyed the monarchy, but struggled to create lasting stability. Out of this turmoil emerged a military leader named Napoleon Bonaparte. In 1799, Napoleon seized power, bringing the revolutionary period to an end and establishing himself as ruler of France. The French Revolution transformed France and influenced the world. It ended centuries of absolute monarchy, spread ideas of liberty and equality, and reshaped European politics. But it also demonstrated how quickly movements driven by justice can descend into violence. The rise of the guillotine remains one of the most powerful symbols of that era, a reminder of how revolution can both liberate and destroy. The events that began in 1789 changed not only France, but the course of global history.